back for a new video. We are currently in
Akron, Ohio.
See, I had him say it because I messed it up. Akron, Acorn, whatever the case is, we're in Ohio and we are currently at Gearstar Transmission, also the home of Yank torque converters. We are here to pick up a new Gearstar transmission that we will be testing in the 55 pretty soon.
Yep, next month.
It's actually pretty much, it is identical to the one we have, but anyone knows you must have a spare transmission.
To do what we do, to be ready at the drop of a hat, you gotta have a spare.
So a spare is what we are going to be doing, but we will be testing that spare, but first we must build it. So let's go inside. All right, so this is out of order because obviously we are not in Akron, Ohio.
Actually, I'm like I Dream of Jeannie. I go, bing,
Oh, yeah.
and it's done.
Yeah, but then we're gonna go back and build it. So anyways, an overview of our brand new transmission here. It's the same as what we had.
Yeah. So if you want to know what it is, same one we've had for a few years. Well, actually not. This has got the module, so it's only the one that we've been running like the last year or so.
Yeah, so basically you're gonna see the parts. We'll talk more about what's inside of it in just a little bit as we're building it, or I should say as Greg and Larry are building it. We're standing there. But this is a combination that we've figured out over the last 4 or 5 years now, I guess,
Yeah.
that we like, between working with Jake and what you figured out, and Alan Pope and Greg Nader. So it's kind of a combination. And I know you're like, it's just a transmission, but that's not true.
No, because if it's just a transmission, everybody'd use the same builder. Everybody has their preferences. There's the big 2 or 3 out there. This is just as good. But it has taken a while to figure that out. And Greg Nader from Sonnax had developed the module. He had everything in his phone listed out. Every modification that we did, or he did, or Jake did, or the combination, he had it written down. So it's pretty cool. He matched this to that.
So backstory, not the transmission that's currently in the 55. That one is the one that we built with Jake originally. But the one that was in there before that is the one that came out of the Nova, which is the one that we split the case on.
Yeah.
So that one is not in use right now, but in the process of getting trying to have a spare transmission somewhere along the way, the one that's in the car is the one we built with Jake, but we had problems with it. Not because of what Jake did, but we had the billet pump or pump half, and we had a nightmare of a time with that, and they have since come a long ways with that, we suppose. But anyways, that transmission had to go back to, it went to Sonnax actually, where Greg did a bunch of testing and looking at it. So he already knew what our combination was because it sat in their laboratory for a little while, as well as all of the transmission lines and the cooler and everything.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, and Jake made a modification to the boost valve in the pump that is still in there, I assume, I think.
So. Yeah.
But whatever the case is, long story. There's only difference in this one and that one. This one is running the billet pump. That one's running a modified stock pump.
Yep.
So anyway, they both work.
Yeah, so we'll just show you for proof. Come along, you can push this. I'll move that light.
Sweet. Mika, can I run over my dogs too?
If you guys want to know a funny story, obviously it's out of order, but when we got back the other day, I just came to drop this off real quick, and that turned into an 1.5 hour ordeal because
Drop what off?
the transmission, when we
Oh.
got back, because it had a little rollover situation. I wasn't even driving
Somebody
fast.
was NASCARing on their way
I
here.
wasn't. I went like 2.5 minutes, and it just. I just thought, is that the transmission? Surely not. Anyways, it poured.
So guess what? Our new 8,000 mile rent-a-car that we had, really nice Blazer,
Yeah.
the Super Sport or whatever they call them now. I guarantee whoever rented that car next said, "What is this funny smell?" Because it poured probably half a gallon of fluid on the carpet.
We cleaned it. And it's
We did.
great. Okay, come look. So this is one transmission, and this is the other, and they look just the same from here.
What a comparison.
It's very cool. Well, it wasn't supposed to be a comparison. It's actually very cool because we were talking on the way back that there was only, he didn't even have one of these guys, one of these nice transmissions. So now
we got 2 1/4 ones.
2.5.
That's not quite half. So my transmission that I built for the Nova was even a little more expensive than this because it was done, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. But the Planetaries utilized a bigger main shaft, 1 1/8 inch, because I was breaking main shafts in that car. They've since figured out how to make main shafts that'll twist and then come back rather than snap like I was doing. So this is a small main shaft, more horsepower than a Nova, and it's surviving. The Nova main shaft and Planetaries were very expensive, but they gave up after a while. They had lots of miles and passes. When they broke, it took the case with them. So lots of damage.
Yeah. So anyways, we're on to having that one rebuilt. But that's a story for another day. Which, with all that rambling, I think you should snap your fingers and put us back in Akron because we need to build this.
Here we go, you ready?
Yeah. All right, so we are inside a Gearstar, and while the facility is not huge in size, their output and their organization is amazing, what they're doing with it.
Shows what you can do if you're organized,
It's-
which I'm not.
No,
Like these people are.
Gives me a lot of ideas, but really nice facility. We'll show you. You've seen the outside if you haven't. Really cool old building. But anyways, let's get started on the actual tour of this. So this is, could we call this the dirty clean
Yeah,
room?
this is the dirty room. Yeah, dirty. Look at the floor. You
Yeah.
could eat off of it.
Yeah, so the one thing is with Gearstar, they are very focused on quality, and I think that even shows in their cleanliness of their shop. But this is where, as we were told this morning, everything starts right here.
Yep. So they don't just clean their cases with a pressure washer like a lot of shops would. They've got ovens and they've got bead blasts. So everything gets bead blasted and then painted. So
Yep.
they look nice, and
Yep.
the paint's, it's going to adhere to the fresh blasted aluminum.
Yeah, so when the cores come in, they come over here, they fully disassemble. They said everything comes apart, nothing stays together. Then they come over here to the parts washer, and then they go to the media blaster. They got everything sorted through here. This one's already painted, so on one like you guys would get, you're gonna get something like this silver paint here that looks very close to stock.
Here's a better example.
That's a better example, yeah.
Nice bead blasted and coated, painted piece.
Yeah, so if you ever saw them on any Motortrend show or anything like that, you'll see that we had really flashy powder coated cases with hand lettering and everything. Those are very cool, but these will get you a little bit more of a unsuspecting.
Yeah, these are your regular customer stuff. That's kind of the show stuff.
Which is very nice. Okay, so he said in total throughout here, how many lathes did he say they had? They had like 12?
Was it that many? I don't remember.
I don't
I
remember.
thought 5, but
Oh,
whatever.
I thought
They're-
5, but then I thought 12 for some reason.
I think 5. I mean, but they've got the ones for cutting converters and machining converters, and this is kind of the dirty area. This is making their converters with all these new parts. Really cool. There's very little use. Every converter is furnace brazed, so every fin on every converter is furnace brazed, and that's a nice high quality piece. These are Yank converters.
So a few years back, they acquired Yank Converters. They were based in Reno, Nevada, but then moved them all here in-house production here, so you can get everything.
He's still got his hands in it, so it's
Yep.
not just, it's not like they just bought a converter company, they threw it at them, and they go. So the guy that developed Yank is still involved.
He was actually just here. He was
Just
on
left.
his way
Yeah.
to get on a flight, but they are a really, really nice piece. So you can call up, order your transmission, get a converter to match your application. We'll keep walking. So it's interesting, this place is on 3 different levels, but every single door goes to the street. So it's on an
4
angle
different
here.
levels.
That's true, 4 different levels. Okay, so over here, this is assembly and dyno.
Which is really awesome. I mean, they've got 5 full-time assembly
Yep.
guys, And on every transmission, the assembly guy stamps his number in there.
Yeah, that's actually something I did not know. So they, on the case, you can see it'll have 2 initials and a number, and if you have any problems with your transmission or just have any questions, you can call up and request to speak to the builder that works on your transmission.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool.
That's very cool. So these are assembly stations, and here we got one going together. Everything's very organized, very clean. They got all their brake cleans, their part cleaners. Really awesome. There's 5 of these stations, but look here. This is even the cooler part. So there's 2 40 horsepower electric dynos, and they're eddy brake dynos. So they're not just an old flywheel spinning around with a caliper squeezing down on it. These things, they can program them, and they'll run all different ranges, shift up and down. He said they put about 100 miles, the equivalent to 100 miles on every transmission that goes out.
And they also have one over there that's gas power 4-cylinder
For
dyno.
some different
Well,
transmissions.
natural gas power for some different ones, but these are really cool. They, like Dad was saying, they've got all kinds of different programs in them to test their shift points and everything. Like, you will actually get it, and it will be tested, and it will be good to go. The other cool thing is, for all customers, they get a dyno video at the end of the assembly of this before it ships out. Video goes to the customer. They can see their transmission actually on the dyno, not a generic video, your actual transmission. So that's really neat. Same with converters up there. When you send in a converter to be restalled, they do a disassembly video so you know what was going on inside your converter. That's
And
really
every
good.
transmission or every converter comes with a 1-year free restall.
Yes.
Isn't that right?
You get
1 year?
well, you get 1 restall within that year.
Yeah.
And then you get 3 years of warranty. So
That's pretty impressive stuff. But look, so all the transmissions, they're not just run off some little box. They're actually programmed into this thing. So they build it like a dyno curve, and they put these things through their paces. So when you get a transmission, you know that it's going to work. It's already worked.
And I can say I actually have kind of, maybe not laughed, but we've been in situations with transmission dynos that they make sure they run and they drive and they have pressure. But like, you're like, oh, well, it didn't actually put it through its paces. Except that's not true with this one. This is a really, really nice, like, it actually is testing everything out.
Yeah, it tests it, works it over.
Yeah,
So here's a special transmission going together. Recognize that? That looks like it belongs in a 55 Chevy, doesn't it?
it does look like it
Like a
belongs in
6-second,
configuration.
3,000 horsepower street car.
Yeah,
So they can do it all, from very standard, regular rebuild type, performance rebuild transmissions to that's our special transmission.
Which we'll talk more about that later, because if you're familiar with Gearstar, that's not listed on their website.
But they're still doing it
But
at
they
their
are doing
facility.
it in their facility. But that's my point. We'll talk more about that. But the cool part is like the same basics apply, and they can handle it. And Larry, who is assembling this transmission, he's been here for 15 years and been doing transmissions for 40 years. So I
Been
would
doing
say,
it here for 15.
yeah, here for 15, transmissions for 40.
Yep.
So
He knows his stuff.
he's pretty qualified. Also, a fun thing, if you guys need a transmission and converter quickly, you can order them at Summit. So they made that announcement about a year ago, where transmissions and converters will be in stock. And I found out today that if you were to order one that's in stock, but maybe the converter's not exactly how you'd like it, you can send it back and get it restalled. So you can get your transmission in a pinch, and get your converter fixed later if you need to.
How long you been doing converters, Ron?
Converters?
Yeah.
Well, if you count from the start, it'll be about nearly 40 years now.
There you go.
Almost 40 years Ron has been doing converters, so also, again.
Have you figured it out in that amount of time?
Mostly.
Do you guys have 5 lathes here? Is that what? How many lathes throughout 5?
Yes,
Okay.
there are 5 lathes full.
Nice, okay. Okay, Dad was right. I couldn't remember.
So they even bond their own friction material on their clutches.
For their lockup.
They
Yeah.
couldn't buy the quality that they wanted. They had, issues with getting clutches, and they basically make the clutch here.
Yeah, so they showed us earlier, they got the bond machine over, and Dad's like, well, why don't you just why don't you do that out of house? But they said that this way they can actually focus on quality control because there was air pockets below the clutch material and the metal. So yeah, they moved it in-house so they can focus on quality. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. I mean, that's impressive when a company will go to those lengths to get quality like they need it. Here's a stack that they did yesterday.
Okay, and then you'll be better at explaining this, but they were saying so you don't have to have a balloon plate. They've
Yeah,
got
because all their hubs are
I think
billets.
it's over here. Chrome Watley. So
that billet hub or whatever you call it.
Billet
Ron, what do you
chrome
call the snout? What's the actual
That's
name?
a hub.
It is a hub. Okay, see how they machine the front cover, the pump there, and it's not the front cover, it's the pump. Look here. So that's machined and that welds in there, and that you don't have to have the old-fashioned balloon plate like they used to have. So they've got automatic welders back here that do that. Then they pressure check. That welds the converters together, but they also pressure test them submerged in water to make sure that there's no weld leaks, which is nice because I have seen some converters
yep.
spraying oil around in the bell housing.
Yep. So this is his layer back here, Madman back here. So these are all ones that have been sent in, and so they do, like I was saying, they take a video when converter comes apart, which that's really nice to get a video because you might have suspicions of what happened, but
Yeah.
that way you can actually see it and know, and it's good data.
Look at those nice pieces. It's like a big giant billet steel, and it's got the fiber bonded to it.
Pretty sure he said that Ron did 23 of those yesterday.
That's probably them right there.
It is. He said it was those. Okay. Then coming over here.
You got the shipping department.
Yes. So crates are, I think, one of the few things not made in-house, but
Well, look at those.
it's
Those
a
are-
really nice crate.
That's the problem. When we get one, now I'm stuck with this crate because I don't want to tear it apart. It's too nice.
We, at Hot Rod Garage, we took the lids and used them for one thing. Like we'd put them, like we used the lids for something, and then we'd use the actual crates as tables for a while.
I know that same thing at our shop. It becomes a table because it is a nice piece. It's not just a wrapped up plastic covered transmission.
Which, if you haven't had a transmission shipped before, I remember Jake told us he had some issues with that. He had to change his crating, remember?
Yep.
Because shipping companies
will tear them
will
up.
just drop them and tear them up. And so this crate is a really nice feature, FYI, because you're buying a nice piece. So this way it comes to you nice.
Yep,
Okay.
that's a big deal.
Take that picture. Anyways, so going this way, this kind of gives you the overview. That's a circle. So that right there is assembly dyno. Downstairs is the dirty room, and over there is the converter room. I actually asked him how big it is. It's about, I think he said right at 5,000 square feet, but like, they're efficient.
There's
They're
a lot of stuff in
very
5,000 feet. The working conditions, look at all the air conditioner, all the HVAC,
HVAC.
yeah, HVAC stuff is everywhere. I mean, so the builders are all comfortable. That's a big deal. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're sweating and hating life, you're not going to do as good a job.
Yeah.
These guys are all enjoying. We've watched them all day, and they're all just super friendly, super happy. I mean, that makes a difference. I'm here to tell you. And that up there, the fourth layer, is the parts department.
Yeah.
So
So-
a lot of stuff's crammed in a small space.
If you order a Gearstar transmission or a Yank
Yank
converter,
converter.
it's all right here in-house in Akron, Ohio. And it's really
Akron,
nice.
Ohio.
Akron. Meg got me messed up.
Akron, Ohio.
Akron, Ohio.
Come
So
on.
earlier, what was Meg saying?
Acorn, probably.
Akron.
Why
whatever.
would you think that? Akron, Ohio.
Okay, so if you order a Gearstar transmission or a Yank converter or a combination thereof, they're all built right here in Akron, Ohio.
Same place as home of Summit.
Summit,
And
Mickey
Mickey Thompson.
Thompson, and
Think of that. I mean, think of the performance people that are right here.
Megan and I actually looked up because we thought we needed to go get a GoPro mount. So I was like, oh, what's the nearest Walmart? And it said Stowe, Ohio. And I was like, that's where Mickey Thompson headquarters is, 8 minutes from here. So I
That's
called
it.
Jason and he's like, well, it's Employee Appreciation Car Show Day. You want to come out? But We're in the middle.
can't do it, but
we're in the middle of it.
what a cool. We're in the heart of Ohio, and Ohio has a deep history with race cars and hot rods, and that's pretty apparent when you think about what's here.
Yeah. So, all right, so up next, you're going to watch us build a transmission. And by us, I mean building a transmission. We actually didn't touch it. And this is the quickest, cleanest, easiest build we've done because, well, we didn't actually do anything this time.
We had a little input. I mean, not really input, because they're doing it. The thing is, we got the best people doing it.
Yeah. We did provide a parts list. And then we got here.
It's built to match. Are we free to talk about our
No, we're not
transmission?
doing it yet. We'll do that in a second. They're going to watch that.
Okay.
It is, though, to what he was trying to say, I think. It is up to the same specs as the 55. But we didn't actually build it this time. Anyway, just watch. You'll see what's going on. All right, so Greg Nader. That's Greg from Sonnax right there.
Yeah, the one on the left. The one in the middle, that's me.
You're right. That is you. And the one on the very, very left, that's Larry. You'll see more Larry. And that's Meg on the right.
Yep, we're all there.
So we went up here. We had 2 days planned, but Greg actually showed up a day early.
Yep. Greg is thorough. Greg didn't want anybody there to bother him. See how I'm bothering him? It's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Let's look. Make sure it's right. Come on, Greg. Get it right.
So he came in, checked out everything, and actually got it set up, which is kind of weird because usually you're in the middle of it and...
Yeah, I actually thought I was going to be, but whatever, it worked out. I've been there before, so it wasn't necessary to be hands-on like Larry is right there.
Yeah.
Michael, that's Michael, actually.
Larry Michael.
See his one glove?
He
We're
does
going to get
look
him
like
one with
Michael Jackson.
rhinestones on it.
He does. So after we started our morning at that other bench, basically we just spent the morning bugging Greg to show us the stuff that he's done. But then we came over to Larry's bench, which is where we're currently at, and we actually got to put this stack in the transmission. But everything had already been checked and clearanced and all that prior.
Yeah, they had basically built it, taken it back apart, and just they had all the measurements and everything right. So all we did was watch. And that's okay because I wanted to see and make sure that I remembered how everything went exactly, because it's been, whatever, a year or
At
more.
least, yeah.
Since I've freshened it 2 or 3 times, but when you're freshening, you're just putting stuff back together like it was.
Yeah, that's different than building it with
Yeah.
all the tricks. So let's talk about some of the components going in this bad boy here.
Look at that thing on the left, the black thing with the holes in it. That's the trickiest part of it. Well, actually, yeah. That's
right
called
there.
the module. That's the Sonnax module. That's got the forward and the direct drum built in. And you've all heard the stories about Turbo 400s exploding. That's because you can overspeed the direct drum, and if you had an old cast iron drum, they can explode. That module takes care of all those issues, and it frees up horsepower because it's light.
You have less reciprocating weight and less stuff slinging around in there. Dad was explaining to someone the other day basically the way first and second gear work is those drums go from rotating one direction to immediately swapping and going the other direction. And while there is nicer drums out there and stuff, this is a piece that we were talking really needs to become more popular, not just for how it performs, but it is so much safer. We were talking to a guy at PRI a couple years ago that Sonnax put us in touch with. He does tractor pulling, I believe it was.
Yeah, yep.
And his drum exploded and took a chunk of his
He was
leg
missing part of his right leg because it took out a big chunk of it. And this on the module, it doesn't actually stop and have to reverse directions. Just the clutch hub and the clutch disc, just the fibers do. So that whole outer drum part that you see, the black part, that thing stays going the same direction. So it's just 1,000 times safer
And those
better.
Yeah, and those will hold up to horsepower. That's Alan Pope test them with Scott Taylor and stuff like that. So anyways, we're a fan. But there's also some cool pieces right here that we're
Look at
currently
that new
looking at.
Sonnax. That's the low reverse band servo cover there that's easily adjustable. You see the part sticking out of it. So you can adjust that or check adjustment without having to take things apart. You just literally take a screwdriver and push that piece up into that cover. And as long as the silver just disappears below the blue, the band's adjusted right.
That's really nice. That's a
Really
nice
nice.
feature. So Sonnax is coming out with a lot of cool new components for transmissions, which is interesting because it's an old transmission platform, so it's cool that they've got new stuff. But as far as valve body too, that right there.
Yeah, that's an Extreme Automatics valve body. So it's basically, I won't say a copy of, but basically it's a copy of a Griner, which Griner is no longer available. So Lonnie at Extreme Automatics builds those billet valve bodies, and they are lightning fast.
So good, it's almost dangerous.
We're not sponsored by Lonnie, but I can tell you that I'll promote his stuff because that thing is just the best valve body on the market.
It's so good. We're super happy with it. As you can see, we're about to flip it over and call it a day, but it is time to put it on the dyno coming up next. But dang, that thing looks good.
It is good. Man, there's a lot of money right there, but that thing is a sweet piece. It doesn't get any better than that.
Okay, so finished up the transmission yesterday and threw it on the dyno. Tested a few things. There was a couple things I wanted to watch this morning. So that's what we're getting ready to do. It is dyno time. Transmission is coming off of the dyno. It got the Gearstar stamp of approval, which looks a whole lot like a transmission tag, like you'll see here with your information, things like that. Key components, that way you can keep the tag and keep it for yourself for reference. But ours checked out. We've got good line pressure. We've got good converter charge. That's something we were watching. Good flow. Everything is copacetic. So we're about to load it up in a rental car. Cross our fingers that it all fits, but yep, all good to go. So it's got the Gearstar quality build. I'd put my hand here, but it's still hot.
It's a little bit warm. That's pretty cool.
It is.
Even though, see what I did there? It's warm, but it's cool.
I see what you did there. So we have our new transmission all loaded up. It just came off of the dyno, legitimately just came off the dyno.
Yep.
Everything looks really good.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. It's a nice brand new unit, so we're ready to go.
It's actually been a few years since we've had a spare transmission because we cracked a case on one a couple years back.
Yep, our spare.
Our spare, so we haven't had a spare. We've had parts for a spare, but it's really cool to have a spare now. This is an identical unit to the one in the 55.
Right down to the orifices. I mean, there's a lot of special stuff in here that our friend Greg Nader from Sonnax came down from Sonnax to work with Gearstar and us to put this thing together. So Greg's one of those engineer type that keeps every note for everything.
And a picture to go with
it.
it.
He knows all the special orifices and all the things that he did with the other one. So this is a duplicate.
Yep, and so this is, that's one thing we've said it once, we'll say it again. Gearstar is great with their quality of build and like their builders. They've got it down to a science. Greg did come in and help. It's been weird because we haven't, it's probably been especially weird for Dad because he's done the transmission in the 55 for the last, I don't know,
4
forever.
years.
Yeah. And so it's weird not having our hands in it, but again, it's to the specs. Greg's had his hands in the 55 transmission that's in it right now. But we do have to give credit where credit is due. Started off learning a lot from Jake. From Jake's performance, he's great, just different. He does more probably race type transmissions, and then Gearstar has a ton of other stuff. Pause. You can go, you don't have to wait on us. No, you're totally fine. We got mics, you're good. So give credit where credit's due. Jake is great, but he does a lot of race transmission, and Jake's pretty busy flying like parachutes and stuff right now. So anyways, big thanks to Jake for helping us come along over the years, and we learned a lot from him. So.
And don't forget Alan.
I was gonna say, up next, Alan Pope, still give him a call. Sonnax actually works really close with Alan Pope as well. He helped develop the module, which is currently in the transmission.
Yep.
So Jake, Alan, Greg, Nader from Sonnax.
We've got the best in the business behind us.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, if we need information, one of those three is going to have the answer to
Yeah,
it.
and then Dad's figured out a lot over the years as well. So it's basically what we're trying to say is, well, we have all of the Gearstar quality and they can build a transmission very much so on their own. For us, we've developed something that works for our program, what we're trying to do. And so we have to give credit to the people that have helped along the way too.
Gearstar is awesome. They've let us give our input on what we wanted in this transmission. They got all the parts gathered up. They had the builder, Larry was awesome. And he put this thing together mostly with Greg, and we can't thank them enough. They've got a beautiful facility and their quality is top notch.
And top notch, like their testing, their dynos, just like everything about it. So if you need a transmission, you got to give Gearstar a call. I have to say, and this is another thing cool about Gearstar, because they do have Yank converters in-house. We've ran it in a lot of projects on Hot Rod Garage. You've currently got it in the Willys at the shop, but Pro Torque is somebody who has been on board with the 55 and just our program in general from literally the beginning. They were there for the Camaro. So we are still running the Pro Torque bolt together torque converter. That is still in here. We tested it with this and they're totally okay with that. So anyways, yeah, Pro Torque is still the converter we're using, but again, that's what works for our program. But if you need something, they can get you set up with a converter and a transmission. And
so kind of to nutshell that, this isn't what Gearstar normally does. They don't build 3,000 horsepower car transmissions, and they don't really want to. They build more everyday performance transmissions.
Think of it like Gear Vendor.
Yeah. So that's what Gearstar is awesome. I mean, they've got that stuff on the shelf, but they don't say that they build bolt together converters like Pro Torque. So we use them. Alan Pope is more what we do. Jake is what we do, but a lot of 4L80 stuff. So we kind of got the whole range covered with these people. And Sonnax, they just build awesome parts.
So while this is not maybe the everyday thing off the shelf, should be a testament to their quality because of the fact it's going to live in 3,000 horsepower. So for anything you're going to be purchasing from them, it's going to hold up. It's going to be good. So anyways, we are burning up. It's Ohio. Didn't think it'd be this hot. There's a couple stops we need to make today because we're getting out of here a little more early than we expected. One of those is Summit Racing because Dad needs to get some stuff for Hot Dump.
Hot Dump, my favorite guy, my favorite project.
That's his dump truck. And then I made a special request. I'd like to go to
You guys will like this one.
want to go to the 27 Club coffee shop. It's MGK's coffee shop in Cleveland.
Okay, I care nothing about that, but I'll go with her because she's going with me to Summit.
I mean,
she cares nothing about that.
I could probably do some damage at Summit too. All right, anyways, we're out. Thank you, Gearstar. Thank you, Alan. Thanks, Sonnax. Thanks to everybody that's been a part of this. So appreciate you guys. And
Jake, Larry, Zach.
Jake, Larry, Zach, Bob,
Ryan.
Greg, Doug. I'm just going to start naming names because there's been a lot of people involved. All right, anyways, as always, be happy, go fast, stay pretty. We'll see you guys next time.